Alright guys, how you doing? Jack Queen here, the Cynical Brit with Comedic Wit. I hope you're keeping well because I know I am. I am keeping well, ladies and gentlemen, because recently I got my vaccine for COVID-19. Yay! Which means if I want to go out like a right muppet to a beach, let's say in Bournemouth with a load of other muppets, I may still be a muppet, but at least I'll be a vaccinated muppet. I mean, we still can't go out anywhere in the UK, what with the lockdown still going on. Kanye, I swear to God, man. But it helps in that when I go out, even though I'll still have to wear a mask out and about, at least I'll be better protected from the virus that must not be named. I'm really gonna miss social distancing when this is all over. Like, people say it like it's such a bad thing, right? But just imagine this for a minute. Like, seriously, do you not really want to go back to interacting with people? Like, think about it for a minute, right? Right, so clubbing, for example, right? Think of that, right? We all go out clubbing, you know. Right, imagine being in a club and some sweaty stranger comes up, off his nut, coked out of his head, and he's rubbing up against you and he's all like, "Whoa, Sammy!" I mean, do you really want that? I mean, that sweaty, coked up stranger was usually me, but that's besides the point. Interesting fact, actually, did you know that the Kardashians, Nicki Minaj and Cardi B are all immune to the coronavirus? It's because it only transmits through people, not plastic.
Coronavirus!
Anyway, the reason you're watching this is because I wanted to talk to you about the vaccine, what it does, and what my experience has been with it personally. And also I wanted to answer some of the frequently asked questions that people ask about the vaccine. So for all you Bill Gates conspiracy theorists out there, much like a Windows computer, prepare to get shut down. So currently in the UK, there are two vaccines that are going around in circulation. So we had the Pfizer vaccine, you know, the people that invented that pill that gives you a raging hard on. Then there's the one that I had that's from AstraZeneca, who worked in collaboration with Oxford University. So first I thought I'd go through some of the commonly asked questions. Now bear in mind, I'm not a scientist, but I will leave links to what I've researched. And you know what? If you want to do some research, go on, do it yourself. You don't need me to do it for you. Go on, off you go. Go on. How does the vaccine work? Now bear with me here because this is going to get a little bit sciencey. So I figured, seeing as how this is going to get a little bit sciencey, right, I've got to dress the part, ain't I? There we are. So I've changed into my lab coat and glasses as the sexy scientist. I'll put a baby in your test tube. Jesus Christ, these glasses though. Am I looking at the camera? Alright, I'm sorry, I've got to take these off. I can't deal with them. So the AstraZeneca vaccine uses a strain of the common cold, also known as the adenovirus, that is taken from chimpanzees. Which is fine, honestly. I mean, it hasn't caused me any side effects, apart from I have found myself wanting to scratch under my arms a lot and a lot more. The virus is then weakened so that it doesn't actually infect people. However, because it's unfamiliar to our body, you know, because it's come out of a chimpanzee, the body will not destroy it instantly because it doesn't know what it is, and so it will take time in order to get rid of it. Then, the DNA of a spike protein that is found in COVID-19 is then injected into the adenovirus. So when the adenovirus starts to go around the body, our cells will take it up, convert it into DNA, then to mRNA, and then it will release the spike protein, which will create an immune response, then creating an antibody, and then that antibody will punch it to death. Understood? Good. Me neither. I hear they use cells from dead fetuses to make the vaccine. Is this true? No, it's not, you pro-lifers, you. So don't worry. You can go back to standing outside abortion clinics. Whilst the original cell was taken from the kidney of a legally aborted fetus, it's not actually that cell that's used, it's actually a clone of the cell that is used. Oh, and for any of you vegetarians or vegans out there, the vaccine does not use any animal products or use any dairy. Although I bet it would taste a lot better with some meat in it. Give me that meat injection. Here's the vaccine administered. The vaccine is given like any other vaccine.
By lethal injection.
Okay, it's not lethal, but it is given as 2 doses rather than typically 1 for a normal vaccine. Why is it 2 doses rather than 1? It's interesting to me, but I'm going to explain it to you whether you're interested or not. See, in order for them to see the effectiveness of how this vaccine was going to work, they divided a clinical trial into 2 groups. One group would take the vaccine as 1, and the other group would take the vaccine as 2. And they actually found that the group that took 2 doses actually had a better immune response than the people that took 1 dose. This is because 1 dose, while it would offer some protection, over a certain length of time would be allowed to mature. And then the 2nd dose would add a more sustained protection rather than just taking it as 1 dose. I mean, it makes sense to me when you think about it. Like if I have 1 pint or 1 drink of the Way of Ray the Warrior, then, you know, it gives me a bit of a buzz, right? But then if I have 2 pints or 2 shots of the Way of Ray the Warrior, it gives me a much more sustained buzz. So by that logic, we should have 10 injections or perhaps 10 pints, or even better, we can have 10 glasses of the Way of Ray the Warrior, and then we will start to really feel the effects. I'm out of breath. How effective is it? Now, according to results compared to Moderna and Pfizer, AstraZeneca is given about 70% compared to Pfizer and Moderna, which is 90 to 95%. Which to me just ain't good enough, is it? Like if this was a university exam, right? Like what would that be? A C? Like, meh, it's alright. It'll pass through your bloodstream. I guess. There was me thinking Oxford was a top university. Whereas like 90 to 95%, that's like a solid A+, innit? Like that's a top vaccine, that, innit? I don't know, I never even went to university. I was too thick. How effective is it against mutations? So the DNA taken from COVID is actually a rather large protein, which means the body will respond to a number of different things within said protein, which means that hopefully the virus will struggle to mutate and it will struggle to transmit itself as effectively once we've all been vaccinated and developed a herd immunity. You know, herd immunity after we've had the vaccinations, not before when we don't know how bad the virus is. But hey, I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. No, I'm not blaming anyone. I mean, there's probably a number of reasons as to why our country has reacted so slowly in comparison to other countries around the world, right? Right?
To stay at home, protect our NHS, and save lives.
Now, whilst the vaccine does cover some potential changes to what could happen to the virus, it doesn't mean that the virus can't mutate beyond what the vaccine can offer, and that means it may dodge our immunity response. The good news is, whilst it would be a bit of a ball ache for scientists, like myself, once new strains are discovered and understood, it is believed that the vaccines can be changed and adapted to deal with the virus rather than having to make a completely new vaccine. So now we come to the main part of the video for all of you who haven't had the vaccine yet. What is taking the vaccine like? Well, so far I can honestly say I have not felt a microchip nor Bill Gates swimming around inside me. However, Father Michael, that's a slightly different story. I wouldn't even mind, I'm not even a Catholic. I don't even know how I got myself roped into a confession box. So because I'm an essential worker in the UK, I got to be one of the first in line because, you know, I'm basically a hero at this point. Now, I have only had the first jab, but I have been told that the second jab works exactly the same way. So before I went and got it done, they sat me down, they gave me a pamphlet to read so that I could understand exactly what I was getting and any potential symptoms that I might experience. Mainly flu-like symptoms like temperature, hot and cold, headaches, aches in general, things like that. So they sat me down, they gave me it, and for those of you that are afraid of needles, don't worry.
It's fucking terrifying. Oh my god, the needle went right in my skin.
Nah, not really. It doesn't really hurt. It's actually just like a little scratch. If you're afraid of needles, just look away. You'll be fine. So I went to bed for a few hours, woke up, went to work, and then within an hour, I didn't feel so good. You know, I felt a little bit peaky. Took a couple of paracetamols as they'd recommended, and I started to sweat it out, you know, like a flu. I was like a sweaty, messy pig. However, within a few hours, I felt like crap again, and then I just had to go home. Went to bed, and when I woke up, I ran a temperature of about 38 degrees. I mean, I was running so hot that Greta Thunberg started shouting at me.
People are suffering.
Yeah, I know.
People are
I'm sorry.
dying.
I'm sorry. Climate change.
How
I know.
dare you.
I know. However, I took some more paracetamols for it, and my temperature came down. And surprisingly, it didn't come back up. So for the next 2 or 3 days, I basically spent most of it just sleeping because I had no energy at all. Like my body felt like it had just completely shut down. So after about 4 days, I felt fit and I was able to start up again. So overall, my experience has Not been the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It's not been that great, but it's not been the worst thing that I've ever been injected with. I mean, when I used to be in there with Father Michael. Stop talking about your childhood trauma. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to drop a like and leave me a comment because I love reading your lovely comments. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on because then you can keep up to date with all things that are Jack Queen. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter at JackQueenSin. All the links are down below in the description. Please follow me. I don't have any friends. And take care for now. My name is Jack Queen. Play your cards right and I will see you next time. Bye!
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, yeah.
I'll give you an enema.